Looks like we're live, Al.
We're back.
We're back. We're live. Better than ever?
Better than ever. I'd say better than ever. Took a week off, gathered ourselves, right? Fans have been clamoring for more, and here we are.
Reshuffled.
We're reshuffled.
Did a little
We
bit of
we
reshuffling.
did a bit of reshuffling, yeah, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Had nothing to do with just not
No,
doing
not at
it.
all. Or it's not like, one of us is playing in a golf
That's not.
tournament, or, one of us just didn't, wasn't prepared maybe, or was staying at a friend's house for the weekend. Like, it's not like any of that.
Or a
Or a
celebration of
celebration of
life.
life type of event. No.
Um, I I'm getting the email
Mm.
from our guest. So, all right. Let me just. Sorry, I'm gonna send this to him.
To our guest. Be our. Ooh, I'd like to take this time to thank our sponsor, North
Okay.
Furnishings. Um, you know, tables, chairs, ottomans, love seat, you know, couch,
He's
sectionals.
he's really doing a lot to just. He's done a lot to support us. A
He
whole
really
hell of a
has,
lot.
and that's why we plug him every show. That's our guy.
Every
Every
show
show
without
without fail,
fail. Yup.
and he gives back. You know what I mean? But that's not why we do it. That's not why we do it. But it's just nice to have a sponsor who cares and takes care of our needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spreads the
Yep.
wealth for.
All right, so we're 2 minutes in. We've done nothing but
All
fill
right,
air. Let's get
kick it
started.
off. Let's do
What do
it.
you say? All right, so we've got the first segment. As always, we're going to wrap the week
What's
up with
your
a little what's your
rate?
rate? All right. So what happened yesterday, or what happened yesterday is the CPI report came out. It's the big report that measures inflation. There were some other numbers that came out. CPI report came in. Prices are higher. It was the highest month-to-month jump that we've seen in a year in inflation and in prices of things. Not good for interest rates. Not good for the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates for the last year to cool this inflation thing. And I don't know. Has it
Doesn't seem
worked?
like
It
it's
doesn't
working.
seem like it's working much. So one thing that I do want to mention, yesterday these numbers were not great for us. They didn't go as expected, but the bond market did not react as they didn't have like a crazy reaction to it. Not much changed. Whether or not the Fed is going to change their policy moving forward is probably the bigger question. If because these numbers are not getting better, in fact getting worse, are they going to get back to aggressively raising rates, or are they going to stop? Good news right now is the bond didn't go
Which is
crazy
what we
because of
fear,
those
right? We fear
numbers.
that you hear these bad numbers and all of a sudden it's just. But it didn't do that. It kind of,
Yeah.
but it.
Yeah, like eighth of a
Right.
point in pricing and stuff. Nothing crazy. So what do you have for us on rate
Yeah,
today, Al?
as
What
far
do you want to
as
talk about?
what rates are currently, not much has changed, right? Like you said, an eighth of a point. And again, what we're talking about there is, it's not like the rate for that day or day to day jumps, right? It's not like this is, this rate jumps as the cost of those rates that kind of changes day to day. Um, so just to give a little bit of information on rates, right? And then and what happens with different programs. So typically, the rates on government loans are tend to be lower and tend to be less affected by like lower credit scores, right? A conventional loan, um, if your credit score is a little bit lower, it's going to have a much higher impact on what that rate's going to be. Whereas an FHA or a VA loan is going to be less impacted by that, right? The difference there is going to be, with an FHA loan, you're always going to have mortgage insurance, right? Whereas for a conventional loan, as long as you have at least 20% equity in your home, you're not going to have that mortgage insurance, that PMI. Um, So that's what kind of offsets it when it comes to that difference in rates. And then of course for the
But if you're putting less than 20% down, you're going to have
you're
mortgage
gonna
insurance
have mortgage
regardless, unless it's a
insurance.
VA.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then the conventional will fall off. You don't have to refinance it all off. FHA,
got to
you got
get
to
out
get
of
out
it.
of the
Yeah,
FHA
that's the
loan
only
if you
way.
want it
You're
off.
gonna be stuck with it for life, forever, right? So
For life of the
life,
loan.
not your life. You get an FHA loan for your entire life. Your life. It follows you around from house to house. You're paying mortgage insurance. Carries along with a
That's
social
not true.
security number. It's tied. It's linked to your social security number, and you will be forever paying forever.
Okay, so I just want to add one thing, and then we'll move on. That's great information. I don't know if people know that
Mm-mm.
stuff or not,
I
but
think most people don't.
I probably
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, and so the distinction though is conventional mortgages are
Mm-hmm.
privately insured, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, where FHA is a government
Ginnie Mae.
program. Same thing goes for their same thing goes for their mortgage insurance. So the mortgage insurance associated with conventional loan is risk based. So it's just like if you're a driver and you have to get or you have to get
Mm-hmm.
auto insurance, if you've got two DUIs and you're always driving 90 miles an hour and you get tickets, you're going to have a higher insurance premium.
Sure.
So the same thing, if you have a 620 credit score with a conventional loan, it's risk based. You're going to have a
Right.
higher mortgage insurance premium. FHA across the board, doesn't matter your score, doesn't matter your down payment. It's the same. Well, down payment can affect it, but it's the same for 3.5% down,
Right.
and so on and so forth.
Yeah. That's a great point. Great point. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
what uh what what do you want to move on to niche
I believe it's a program highlight. We're going to highlight a program, not
program
necessarily a
highlight?
niche, right? Because they're
Okay.
all out there. Um, and my lovely wife Christine said, "Why don't you guys talk more about the programs? Because I don't know much about the programs." And if you've never heard her before, that's exactly how she sounds. Um, so figure we talk about the programs or the programs, as I like to say, roll tide. So the conventional purchase program, typically you're going to have anywhere from 5% to 20% down. It's going to be your best option in most cases if you have the credit score and you have the assets, right, to put the money down. Um, but also good for for a first time home buyer because there are 3% down programs, right? And there's some flexibility there with conventional programs. One of the programs that we highlighted in the I believe it was our first show many years ago was many moons
Many
ago
moon.
was that 1% down 2% grant program, which was a conventional loan, and
Mm-hmm.
that one just happened to have no MI, right? So there's a little bit of flexibility that these lenders have when it comes to conventional loans, where they can kind of cover the pay the mortgage insurance or give a grant for the rest of that down payment to kind of help with the first time home buyer programs, especially now when you're looking at a time where it's more expensive than it's ever been in history to buy a house, right? So conventional mortgage program is what you're going to see the most of, right? Most folks out there have a conventional loan. Um, and again, as we talked about earlier, unless you put 20% down, you're going to have mortgage insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another good thing about conventional loans, they're a little bit more lenient on things like appraisal repairs. So if you get an FHA or a VA loan, you get the appraisal done on the home, and it comes back subject to, right. So this is the value subject to these repairs, scraping, peeling paint, not having a they don't like the banister going down the steps. Or that the little spokes are too wide on the banister. Any number of it could be any number of things, chipping and
Chipping and
peeling
peeling
paint.
paint.
But you're gonna have to get those things done on an FHA or a VA. If you're doing an FHA or VA loan, you're gonna have to get those repairs done before you can close the loan. Whereas conventional, a little bit more lenient on those things. Government-backed loans tend to be a little tighter.
Yeah, if you're buying a house that like has like it's like you're gonna have to gut it. It's probably gonna be a conventional loan. If there's like missing drywall and stuff in rooms, it's gonna be a conventional loan. And in the making offers and stuff in a competitive market, I don't necessarily agree with it, but sellers, agents, they tend to
Favor,
get a little more
yeah,
warm and fuzzy.
those conventional
Yeah.
loans. So
So,
that's not to discount the government
yeah,
programs, because the
and
government programs are fantastic, but just to highlight the conventional program because it is obviously the most popular. It's what you're going to see the most of. If you have the assets, if you have the credit score, that's going to be the route probably in most cases.
okay. All right, yeah, and a little like I guess deep dive into conventional. Our guest is already in. Can you guys see me in here? Yeah, we can see you in here, Simmons. We're gonna
Very
bring you in
excited.
the
Just
next
stay tuned,
segment.
buddy. Just hang in there. Just hang in there. He's just swimming
He's the
around in the fish
best.
tank, as we call it.
So,
Just made that up, by
all
the way.
right,
That's pretty
so
good.
we've
It's pretty good.
we've got conventional conventional loans. You can bring as little as, in some cases, 3% down, but
Mm-hmm.
typically 5% down, 10% down, 20% down, 15% down. Those down payments are going to affect your mortgage insurance premiums, and have a small effect on your
Mm-hmm.
interest rate and other things. So, if you do, there's a lot of programs out there. Fact is, talk to somebody you trust, get information, gather information, and
Yeah.
make good decisions based on
Talk to
information.
somebody. Hell,
There's no
talk to
one
us if you
right
want
loan.
to, right? Give us a call. Talk to us. Don't be afraid to give us a call. Send me a text. DM us. We're here for you. We're here for you. We believe in you.
Please, please.
All right.
All right. So, all right. Let's circle good old Simmons in here.
Wow, looking out the window. He's taking us on a ride.
I
This
don't
is
even.
a
I
unique
don't
way
even
to
know how
do
to get.
things.
I don't know. Well, listen. I'm meant for the open road, Joe. I don't know how to. I don't know how to flip my camera. I'm so new to this. Hold on. Let's do this. Fucking. There we go. Let's get the. How do I flip the thingy?
Well, look, wait.
Hold
While
up.
he's doing that, let
Scrime
me
time.
give him
Go
a
to the
good little
camera button, or go
intro.
to the settings button at the bottom.
Okay. Settings. Yeah. Video.
Video,
There
and
we
then you
go.
should be able to do
Back
front
camera.
facing
Forward
or
facing.
whatever one. There's the guy.
I've been married.
There he
I've been married for
is.
10 years. I'm always forward facing.
Forward facing.
All right. Are we
Forward
in?
facing. Now mine's messed up.
We're in.
There we
Al,
go.
what are you
Got
doing?
it.
He
There we
was
go.
simulating while he was telling me what to do. He
I
was
was simulating.
simulating what he had.
I'm trying to show the folks, show the viewers out there, what the problem was and how to fix it. Right?
He had to walk
Not just a
himself through.
one-stop
Very
shop.
hands-on guy.
Big time hands-on guy. Big time DIY guy.
All right. Well, let's welcome to the show a dear friend of
Thanks
the
for
show.
having me, gentlemen.
A dear friend of the show.
Time.
As soon as the show went live, I was one of the initial followers. I mean, you guys did what was that video you guys did on one of your listings? You had Miz in there. Miz was walking backwards. He didn't even know what he was doing on camera. Whatever, you guys had some listing and you brought in some cute little talent to be the front runner. What was that video you did?
That
I
was
wasn't
at
a
my
part of that
house.
video. Abby didn't ask me to be in it.
Oh,
That
I'm
was
sure
at my
Yoder.
house.
Yeah, Yoder probably
Stole the
screen
show,
the whole
yeah.
place. Yeah, stole the show. Yeah.
There was a good fill-in. Yeah. Of course he
There
did.
wasn't
Or he'll
there
have
wasn't
you
an
believe.
Andy's mint left in that place after he was done with it.
Simmons is Roanoke lacrosse legend.
Legend.
Legend's tough.
A auto world trailblazer.
I want to go with Trailblazer. I think I'm treading water over here. Begins with the T. I'll give you the T.
So
You're not treading water. You're thriving. That's what you're doing. That begins with a T, and that's what you're doing, pal.
I'm
With
just
those
faking it.
sunglasses on?
I'm just faking it better than most.
I love
So
that.
we will we're gonna have, I don't know if Simmons is aware of our next segment. It's called Opinionated, where Al and I each pick a segment or a headline from recent news and we give our opinion about it. So I'll
Okay.
give my opinion, then Al can give his, and you can chime in as you'd like. So my article headline is Mask Mandates Reemerge Amid COVID-19 Cases Uptick.
Oh.
All right, so A couple highlights. Rutgers University is requiring vaccines for students. It's
Mm-hmm.
weird. Lionsgate Studio in California requires employees and visitors to wear a mask. Kaiser Permanente, all over, they're everywhere, every state. Anyway, they require masks for all employees and visitors. And Morris Brown College issued mask mandates. I just this I don't understand what's going on. Is it that headline is from like a week ago? It's not from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. Colleges, they just want to tell people what to do. That's just what they do. So, all right, I'll give Morris Brown a pass. But who's working at these places that in 2023 they're asking you to walk in with a mask on? I'll hang up and listen.
I'll let Scrime take this one.
You know, I don't know if it's too early on in the show for me to put my tinfoil hat on or not. Like,
Never too early.
I'm amazed that they're bringing. I'm amazed that they're even have the audacity, the stones, the little coin purse, to actually throw back out there to people. Time to suit back up. Put on your snorkels. Like, fuck that. Like, how are people even believing that? I feel like how do 81 million? I don't know where I came up with that number. How does the American people still believe that after the last 2 years that a mask is actually going to be effective? And why? And how come a handful of select industries? Well, you know, I would say that education is definitely going to be that, just due to the left-leaning mindset of it, right? But and pharmaceuticals, I feel like they're the flagships for the people that, hey, we're gonna go win for this thingy again. Like, I don't know how to get away with it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and isn't the data out there that masks they didn't do really anything to help, and they may have hurt? Like those
Yeah.
you've got the data.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty
out
conclusive.
There. You know what else is funny too is
So it's
that
a little.
they got you early on back in 2020 with like the we got to wear a mask. But if you get stuck, if you get the jab, right, to make your life so much easier, guess what? You don't have to worry about the mask, right? You don't have to worry about wearing the mask. You got stuck. You can't pass it on. You can't get it. And then what? A couple months later, I mean, that was just a ploy just to get as many people on the boat as they could, right? Get as many people going in there and getting their little jab as they could. And then it was like, okay, we were wrong. You got to get the second jab, and you still got to wear the mask. And I think now people are like, you know what? We're not going to believe a word you say. You guys lied to us once. You lied to us twice. You lied to us a lot of times. You know, just not buying it anymore. But, you know, there's still going to be that small percentage.
I sure hope people feel that way. Al, what do you got for us?
So, the Mexican government.
They're always just crack
hearing you
group
guys.
coming out with.
Huh? Can you hear us? Oh, he's breaking up.
Oh no!
Oh, come on, guest.
It sounds like I'm in a microwave. Like, I can't. It says I got 5 bars. I don't know what's going on over here. Maybe I do need to take my hat off.
You're driving.
God. You need to take your tinfoil hat off.
But that, you know, that's what I'm saying. Al, I could hear you there for a little bit though.
Are you ready?
And that's kind of where I was saying. It's like, one jab, 2 mask, 3 jab, 4, right? Like, at what point do the American people just have temporary amnesia to this? Like, how are these businesses in academia getting away with the snorkels again? I don't believe it.
I think we are past it, and now it's just a clown show for the people that get on board a second time, right? Now you're going to see the people who are just such fools.
They're in a cult.
Yeah.
That's all. They're not fools. They've bought into a cult.
Sure.
Simmons, before we move on, is there an MSRP sticker on the back driver's side window?
Is that a company vehicle?
Yeah. Everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale.
So you're just driving around an advertisement right now. That's just an advertisement for your dealership is all that is. You're just hoping somebody
You
comes
know,
up and
it's
makes you an offer.
you know what? This one's been written down. I got 2,200 miles on it. You know, I'll give you $1 a mile. You know, I'll put a bow on it. What color you want?
Oh my God, you're such a good salesman. I'll buy it. I don't even know what it is, and I'll buy it.
It's dude. You know
all
what?
right,
The best perk of the job. Don't have to pay insurance. Don't have to pay for the car. Like, I mean, that's the best deal.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Am I in a microwave
All right.
again?
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready for mine?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Mexican government. Congress had a hearing about aliens, and they showed one of these little guys, and he looks like this, right? And just in post,
He looks like ET.
Do that thing. Yeah, well, Dad knows what I'm talking about, right? So, and they brought him out and they wheeled him out there, and they said he's between. There's two of them. One's like 800 years old, and the other one's like 1,700 years old. So they're here. They've been here. They've always been here. And then I saw another video of a guy that was with like Canadian National Defense. Was like, yeah, it's like he named like 5 different kinds, and one of them is some sort of like Norwegian blonde or something like that. He called it. And those, it was like you can't tell the difference between like a human walking down the street and what this thing is. Like they could be living among us, which is wild, right?
It's not. We're not calling it Norwegian blonde and South American like.
It sounds like a strain of weed. Anyway, Al. I mean, did you take a good look at these things?
But here's the other thing, right?
It looks like they have lips. They have lips. They're 800 years old. They still got their lips.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like
circular ribs.
It looks like somebody like a kid made it out of clay.
Yeah. Well, you know, they were well preserved, right? Very well preserved. That's that's what the aliens, what those little fellows do, right? They their little bodies know how to shrivel up, right? And preserve. But here's the best part, right? So they were found in Peru, and then you have the Nazca lines in Peru. They're like these big, I don't know, think of like a crop circle, thousands of feet, miles long and huge. And one of them is an astronaut. Plug it, and it looks exactly like one of these little guys, right? And they called it the astronaut because it looks like a little spaceman. But when you compare it to what this little gray fellow was that the Mexican government showed us, and the fact that it was found in Peru, and that's where these lines are in Peru, that's what I'm telling you. That's what that drawing is. That's what those drawings are in Peru. Those bastards have been here. It's real. Tinfoil hat.
He is gone.
Lost him.
Not good. Yeah. Anyway, I was going to share my screen and show a picture of that stuff because it's ridiculous, dude. They're ridiculous.
Just plug it in post.
I'll plug it in post. You got to take a good look. It's such a sham. And the Mexican, no offense to our Mexican viewers, our Mexican friends. I love Mexicans. They put out some of the best boxers ever. Mexican style boxing. I mean, come on, it's the best. I like Mexicans. Their government, so all of a sudden they're the authority on aliens because they roll a couple of fucking corpses out. Why don't you just dig up her old bones,
wheel her old bones,
roll the old, yeah,
dig her up and wheel her old bones in here.
If anybody sees this and can let us know what that was from, we'll pay for your appraisal on the next deal that you use us for.
Love that. Great plug, Gab. That's nice.
No, that is a very exciting. It's very exciting when people talk about aliens, but I'm just so skeptical.
Oh, I'm so extremely skeptical. I just, it's a fun little slide to go down, right? It's exciting to slide down this little wormhole and you do some research and you look at it. But I mean, we live in a time when you can't believe anything that you hear and you can't believe anything that you see. Even when you see somebody say something, right? You see them talking and you hear the words coming out of them. You see them talking, you hear the words coming out of their mouth. You still can't believe it, right? Because everything can be doctored. So, yeah, it's wild stuff. It's definitely wild stuff. But But yeah, what I am here to say is that that's 100% real, and those little bastards were here.
All right, let's rip through our hot take as quick as we possibly can.
Okay.
And then we'll try and bring Simmons back in, and hopefully he has better service.
Okay.
All right, so my hot take is for a year now, it's kind of like back to what's your rate. For a year now, the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to try and cool inflation. And I recall back in 2009, 10, 11, when the same people were running around. So doesn't matter which political party you are, it's just a fact. Janet Yellen was a Federal Reserve, the head of the Federal Reserve. Now she's the Treasury Secretary.
Right.
Her thing was raising rates. They were raising rates a lot. Now, Jerome Powell's the head of the Federal Reserve, and he is raising rates. I'm just wondering, we're a year in, inflation hasn't gotten better, rates are up, the housing market is dead. At what point do they revisit the playbook and say maybe raising rates isn't the be-all, end-all solution?
Right.
You know, I don't know the answers, but it's just like how long for 2 years? We're just going for like 2 years, 3 years, just raise until. I mean,
I don't know. There's
like,
got to be.
Is there a different way to do this?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Obviously not our area of expertise, but that's a great point, right? There's got to be somebody smart enough out there that sees a different way to do things that people were just afraid to try, right? Afraid to take that next step, or it's like this is what's always worked. This is what's going to work now, right? That kind of legacy thinking. I have no idea because I'm not very well versed in that area, so I couldn't say. But it's a great point. If it's not working, why are we continuing to do it? We're not seeing any changes. If anything, I think it's getting worse, right?
Well, it is getting worse. You just saw it yesterday in the report.
Right.
Prices of things, it's the highest jump in prices month over month in over a year. So that's not good.
No.
And I mean, shoot, if you're just a normal person, think about your grocery bill. It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy. But and all right. Well,
and then on top of that, I mean, for what we do and trying to buy a house, it's how hard is it to buy a house right now, right? To buy your first house, that dream of home ownership, it's impossible, right? Or it's borderline impossible if you work a regular 9 to 5 and a blue collar job, right? And you're trying to save money. I mean, it's just not feasible. There has to be a different way. It's a great hot take. Yeah. Hot take.
What do you have for hot take this week?
So, I think with where the market is, people are like, oh my God, I'm going to wait for the market to cool down to buy a house. Which is pretty much what everybody's thinking, right? Everybody's of the same mindset that I can't buy right now. This is the worst time to buy. Rates are too high. Values are too high. The truth of the matter is that there's not any indication that the values are going to come down, right? Values have been climbing. They're probably going to keep climbing, right? And I think right now the strategy is, if you have the assets and you are in a good position, buy now with eyes on refinancing when rates come down. Because if you wait for rates to come down, you are one of millions that are sitting on the sidelines waiting for it to happen. And all that's going to happen is once there's inventory, it's just going to get bid up even higher because they're going to have more buyers for less inventory. Well, you'll have a little bit more inventory, but I think you're going to have a lot more buyers, right? So these houses are going to get bid up. So if you think you're going to pay too much for it now, when rates come down, you're going to be, like we talked about before, it's going to be a feeding frenzy. It's only going to get more expensive.
And
so,
yeah. And if it's a matter of affordability, if you can't, if the rates are too high and affordability is out of whack, then do not buy. But if you have the ability, if you can afford it and you have a want or a need to buy, I think people will benefit buying now in a year or two when things do cool. You'll see the rewards in value and stuff. So
absolutely.
I think, yeah, and that echoes, and we should just continue to echo that because, it's a fact and people should know about it. So let's bring our guest back in. Some technical difficulties shot him out, but we're gonna circle him back. Hey, he's back.